All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is Ripple wants to go public after settling the SEC lawsuit. So, major crypto company Ripple's not given up on its plans to go public despite its ongoing legal battle with the United States regulators, according to SBI Group's CEO. So, Ripple in a little bit of trouble with the SEC for a long time now, but most people are saying that it's likely going to end up in just a simple settlement where the SEC basically doesn't deny any wrongdoing of calling it a security, even if it is or isn't. And then Ripple kind of walks away too. And then when this happens, I believe that Ripple will easily be $2, maybe even $3, just because of the floodgates opening. There's like 30 exchanges that have unlisted it, suspended it. Grayscale dissolved its XRP fund. So there was a lot of selling. There was a lot of FUD. And I think once those floodgates open back up and people were able to sell or buy back again, it'll create a lot more volume for XRP. But Yoshitaka Kitao, CEO of Japanese financial giant SBI Group, claimed that Ripple plans to become a public company after the firm settles a legal action brought against it by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Speaking on a Wednesday earnings presentation call, Kitao said that both Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Executive Chairman Chris Larsen are planning to take Ripple public. After the current lawsuit, Ripple will go public. The current CEO wants to do that. Chris wants to do that. Kitao said that SBI's investment in Ripple would pay off following a potential public listing, noting that SBI is the largest outside shareholder of Ripple. Kitao further predicted that Blockchain Consortium R3, another industry company actively supported by SBI, will also go public one day. We've been investigating in fintech companies, and we adopt that technology in our group, and also we spread that technology across the industry. That is SBI Group's basic strategy. Garlinghouse hinted at a potential initial public offering last year, predicting that IPOs would become more prevalent in the crypto and blockchain industry. In the next 12 months, you'll see IPOs in the crypto blockchain space. We're not going to be the first, and we're not going to be the last, but I expect us to be on the leading side. It's a natural evolution for our company, and I suppose he was right about that, because Coinbase did go live, if you want to consider that a crypto blockchain space company, which kind of is. I mean, it's an exchange, but either way, Ripple currently still in that SEC lawsuit. It doesn't really seem to be going anywhere, and a lot of people think, again, it's going to be just settled out of court at some point, and Ripple will probably have to pay some umpteen millions of dollars, and this will blow away. But the big thing about that is that once this goes away, again, there was a lot of investors, even big investors, that sold off all their Ripple just in case. They didn't want any trouble, sort of thing, and a lot of exchanges did that. They unlisted or suspended completely XRP trading, and then once this blows over, they'll come back, and there will likely be quite a bit of people with Ripple on those exchanges where it's unlisted or suspended, where they're just sort of sitting in limbo in wallets that still exist on the exchanges. And they'll likely sell now that the price is 3, 4, 5 times higher than what they originally bought it at 20 or 30 cents. But I think with that initial selling, then there'll be quite a bit of demand to come back for XRP, and we should easily see $2+ XRP, considering we pretty much already seen $2 XRP during the lawsuit. So we'll have to see what happens when it blows over. Moving on, Germany allows institutional funds to invest in crypto. So this is a big thing. A new law in Germany now permits over 4,000 institutional investment funds to gain exposure to cryptocurrencies. The move could spark massive crypto adoption in Europe's largest economy over the next few months or years. The new legislation permits wealth and institutional investment fund managers called Spezial Fonds, I got nothing, to invest as much as 20% of their portfolio in cryptocurrencies. The law is set to come into effect on the 1st of July. And this latest development has been received positively in the cryptocurrency space, with some experts claiming that it could boost Germany's position as a financial investment hub. They also believe that it could boost the crypto sector by legitimizing the asset class. So that's going to be something pretty big. So a whole bunch of investment funds just unable to buy cryptocurrency right now. On the 1st of July, they will be able to do that and will likely take advantage of those big gains. And this is something that North America, or the United States particularly, is missing. They need an ETF. They need regulation among the SEC for these investment funds to actually purchase, because they currently can't. So they have to go through Grayscale or something like that. And Grayscale is kind of Bitcoin derivatives. It's not quite the same thing. It's GBTC. Sure, Grayscale has to back it with real cryptocurrencies, but you're really buying GBTC. You're buying these shares, these derivative shares of the individual cryptocurrencies. And it's not quite the same as an actual ETF, but no ETFs exist in the United States that are able to actually trade Bitcoin at the moment, or any cryptocurrency for that matter. But there was a few in Canada, but I think once one actually comes in the United States, it'll be a completely different story. Also, there's a little bit on the horizon of Biden raising the capital gains tax for millionaires to like something like 38 or 39%, and then plus with like state tax and all this other stuff tacked onto it, it'll be something like 43%. In some states, it'll actually be like 50 to 55%, like California and New York state, which is absolutely awful, meaning that if you invest $1 million and you double it, you make $2 million, or you make $1 million and now you have two, you have to give the government something like $500,000. So that's less for you to reinvest in afterwards. So I don't think it's going to have a very good effect on the markets or cryptocurrency for that matter. If people have to pay that much, they're going to have a lot less to reinvest afterwards. However, for the people currently hodling, it's not going to be really much of a problem. But when anybody goes to cash out, that's going to be a major problem. But on the positive note, that could also force people to hodl even longer. And therefore, people will be less willing to sell or day trade as often because of the capital gains increase. But again, it's only for people with $1 million. But again, that's essentially the people who are really pumping the cryptocurrency market right now, like institutional investors and companies like Tesla buying $1.5 billion and MicroStrategy, etc. So we do have these millions and billions of dollars pouring in. So it's not just the retail investor anymore with your few $1,000s or something like that. So it could have some strange effects on the market. But moving on, Coinbase debuts buy with PayPal feature, but read the fine print. So yeah, I agree with that title right away. So basically, Coinbase now finally allows you to buy cryptocurrency with PayPal, but only on the actual Coinbase site. And we all know how much the fees are on the Coinbase site. They're absolutely outrageous, usually something like 3, 4, 5%. So you end up paying a whole bunch of money. And if you think it's going to be any cheaper with PayPal, guess again. So you were for a while able to cash out to PayPal, which is fine, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But for the longest time, you were not able to buy with PayPal. And the market kind of goes off and on. Back in 2010 and 2011, you were able to buy with PayPal, but then people figured out ways to exploit that and get basically free Bitcoin and take their money back. So then that stopped for a while, and then it kind of came back, stopped for a while. So it's back for a little while. Who knows how long this time? Coinbase is allowing U.S. Users to buy cryptocurrency with their PayPal accounts, and a major expansion in the exchange's funding rails. The option announced Thursday could cost unwitting users substantial sums and fees. Oh, for sure, because nobody should actually use Coinbase to buy cryptocurrencies. You should use Coinbase Pro, but unfortunately, you won't be able to do that with PayPal on Coinbase Pro. So it's another sign of crypto's increasing mainstream acceptance. PayPal, long coy and standoffish about the sector, began allowing users to buy crypto on its own platform last year. So Coinbase users can now buy up to $25,000 in crypto daily using PayPal, which is, I'm sure those fees aren't going to eat you to absolute pieces, so nobody's going to be doing that. But I guess this is reasonably good news. So according to the exchange's settings page, they'll lose nearly 4% of such purchases to PayPal-specific fees. The PayPal integration is the third big spender option alongside bank buys via automated clearinghouse, also capped at $25,000 daily. So a Coinbase reporter, or CoinDesk reporter, previewed $25,000 worth of AVE, I purchased just for fun. So buys on Coinbase using nearly every available funding option. So basically, they were trying to use a credit card and a debit card and this, that, and the other thing just to see how the fees were. Choosing PayPal, the order would have the biggest triggered fees at $959. So if you bought $25,000 worth of AVE using PayPal, it'll cost you a mere $959 Wednesday night. So the reporter PayPal's account is funded by his debit card. Paying with the bank account tied to the same debit card would cost $367 in fees. But again, just using an ACH transfer to Coinbase Pro would cost you far, far less, just the usual probably 0.5% fee, which would still be quite a bit with $25,000, but it definitely wouldn't be no $959 or even $367. Paying with the debit card itself would not have worked because of the 5,000 weekly cap. So basically extremely expensive for anybody looking to buy with PayPal like that. But moving on here to the Cardano news. It's Ethiopia links up with Cardano to launch the country's biggest blockchain deployment yet. So I don't know how many blockchain deployments Ethiopia has, but this is certainly reasonable. I don't feel like this is the biggest news in the world. The article is all over the place, and it's super huge news to Cardano fans because it is real world adoption, but I don't feel like this is going to necessarily add a ton of money to the market or anything like that, or like the market cap. So according to the government, this project is initially expected to involve more than 5 million Ethiopian students. So it's basically a blockchain-based national student and teacher identification system. Meanwhile, this link up between these two parties have been hailed by both the Ethiopian government and IOHK. For instance, in his comments on the deal, Education Minister Gedouin Mekuria, again, slow it down, I pronounced it properly, praised the project, saying this would make the nation's education provision more dynamic. We believe blockchain offers a key opportunity to end digital exclusion and widen access to higher education and employment. For his part, IOHK African Operations Director John O'Connor argued that this deployment could help create a spark that ignites a tinderbox of blockchain innovation throughout the African continent. So Ethiopia's blockchain-based education transformation is a key milestone on IOHK's mission to provide economic identities and employment, social and financial services for the digitally excluded. However, according to one report, there are expectations that this project could ultimately be extended to universities where degrees are also verified digitally at the Cardano blockchain. This function will allow employers to easily validate the authenticity of applicants' educational credentials. So that's pretty interesting. I don't think it's going to be too huge, but it is the first step for some kind of education-based blockchain system. I do kind of like the idea of degrees being on the blockchain, so that you can't just fake a degree or something like that. That certainly makes things a lot easier. But good news for Cardano fans. But for me, kind of meh news. Either way, obviously didn't have too much of an effect on Cardano because it's still sitting at about $1.31, which isn't too amazing. It is pretty close to its high, but fair enough. But Bitcoin sitting at 53,227, so still hasn't really recovered back to the 60,000 on that FUD news of Biden raising the capital gains to 40%, which doesn't surprise me at all, because if you had a ton of money and a president was like, I'm going to raise the capital gains over 2 times as much, so basically over 100% what they currently were, you might think to yourself, okay, well, I should just sell now, and then I would only have to pay 20% in capital gains as opposed to 40% in capital gains. So that's probably what happened with the stocks. They did kind of go down for a little bit there and then kind of sprung back up. So it looks like Bitcoin just still hasn't recovered from that FUD news. And again, yeah, it makes total sense, like selling before you're going to have to pay even more money. it's just good business, to be totally fair. But Ethereum at 2,724. So basically all-time high. All-time high was maybe $40 more, but we're at basically all-time high on the news of Uniswap 3 coming out and additional layer 2 solutions that will help Ethereum a lot. I think once we get layer 2, like full-on layer 2 solutions that people actually start using, or at least the smart contracts start using, like Uniswap, then we'll start to see a huge increase in Ethereum. So $5,000 Ethereum is definitely in the future, at least $3,000 Ethereum for sure. It's only a few $100s away. But XRP at $1.38 too, and XRP nearly got to $2, and that was during the SEC lawsuit. So once this actually blows over, I believe XRP, at least for a little while, the hype of it actually going away and being relisted on exchanges will easily bring it to $2. Will it stay there? Will it go over or less than $2? I don't know, but I think there's definitely be a sort of a FOMO wave once it goes over. So holding on to XRP it might not be the worst idea at the moment. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. My social media in the description below. Channel memberships are active. Hit the join button, become a member. You look 32% cooler when you comment and when you have your super cool channel badge on the channel. But that's all I have for you guys. As usual, I'll see you guys next time.